Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I am Mark Toti.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark.
Oh, yeah.
We love the theme song courtesy of your brother Tom.
Brother
right?
Tom.
Brother Tom.
Awesome job. Thank you so
job.
much. Yeah.
Great job. Big show, a spooky show, if you will. I don't know.
What do you think of our costumes?
Yeah, this is scary radio guys, huh? Boo!
Yeah, middle-aged podcasters.
Things will definitely get Halloweeny when we talk to Vickie Visnovski. She lives on A Street in Farmington. You've probably seen her house before as she decorates year-round. So coming up a little bit later on in the podcast, we will go to her front yard to interview her about that. We're also going to talk to the scary St. Francis County Clerk, Kevin Engler, during our news segment. He's going to get us ready for in-person absentee voting, as well as what's on the ballot and how you can study up on all those amendments you will be deciding upon. And then the new executive director for the United Way of St. Francis County, Suzzane Baker, will join us here in the barn. Want to thank our sponsors for episode 21 of the Parkland Podcast, Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Save-A-Lots of the Parkland, Heimberger Construction, St. Francis County Clerk Kevin Engler, the St. Francis County Republican Central Committee, and Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center, all sponsor
By the way,
our podcast. Yes.
Supporting the team, showing the love for the sponsors here. We've got new sponsors coming in.
Yeah,
Bailey
Bailey
Joe's
Joe's.
Barbecue.
Yummy.
Yes, indeed.
And the dressing's really, really good, too. And you can get that at your local Save-A-Lot. So there we go. We got another plug.
That's right.
For them as well. Man, we are so pluggy today. Good for us. Oh, of course, week 9 of the high school football season, our finale for Parkland Sports Live between the Farmington Knights and Central Rebels. We'll have a complete recap of that coming up in sports. And, of course, lots of news and events. Hey, make sure that you get a picture of your trick-or-treaters this Halloween. And check out the Parkland Podcast Facebook page. Upload a picture of your trick-or-treaters to the comments of the post, and we'll pin that for you so it's right up top. And get likes. The pictures with the most likes will win cool prizes courtesy of Parkland Pharmacy, the business on Mark's shirt. What was your favorite Halloween costume back in the day?
I didn't really have a favorite. I loved Halloween when I was young. But I didn't really have a favorite.
Was there like a fail-safe costume, though? Did you always have like a jersey on hand so you could be a baseball player if like you had to throw something together real quick?
I was pretty low maintenance. My mom would just throw a sheet over my head and said, now you're a ghost. Get out there.
Here's a couple of holes you can see through.
Nothing really sticks out for me for Halloween. My favorite part of Halloween was the actually the Halloween show that we hosted on J98 every year.
And I wanted to talk about that because I have a very fond memory of one year. It doesn't directly involve you, but I know you were working there when this happened. So let's go back to Halloween 1980, we'll say 84. So you were there, right? Doing the Spook Patrol, going out and interviewing people?
Yes, but we don't like to call it the Spook Patrol.
Yeah, that name's kind of dated, isn't it?
It's dated.
Yeah. So the Halloween party, now this is how the J98 Halloween party worked for many, many years. These, I guess, little postcards were sent out to all the area school districts, and on the postcard there was a pledge that you would not vandalize, that you wouldn't steal people's candy. And here's the best part. You would be done trick-or-treating by 7 p.m. so that you could go home and listen to the J98 Halloween party.
And kids did it.
Oh, yes. I remember doing it in the Halloween of 1984. Halloween is my birthday, so that was my birthday night. I had successfully completed my trick-or-treating, and I went into my parents' room because they had a nice big stereo. And, of course, I turned on J98, 98.5, and listened to Super Radio during the Halloween party. One of the cool birthday presents I got that year, there was a gas station in Deloge selling these, like, sheets of baseball cards. I mean, it was like 8 foot high of just printed Topps baseball cards. And I remember sitting in front of my radio, scissors in hand, cutting out all these baseball cards that night, and I was so excited. And then I heard something. I heard a familiar voice on the show, and it was my classmate, Teresa Haug, who had won a prize from one of the sponsors, and they called her live on the radio and put her on the air. And I remember the next day going up to Teresa and be like, hey, I heard you on J98 last night. And she got all blushy. And then years later, I figured out why Teresa Haug's name was drawn, because you and probably a couple other sports dudes were like, hey, this is Coach Haug's daughter. Maybe we'll get a better interview next time. And you drew Teresa's name. So I'll never forget that. And it is like etched into my memory forever.
Yeah, loved the Halloween show, loved talking to the kids, hearing about their costumes. And they would say, I wish I had better memories as far as being able to remember what some of those kids told me, but it was a laugh a minute.
I'd say there was probably some kids say the darndest things in those too.
Very much so.
So there you go. Awesome Halloween. Well, we'll count that as our totally awesome radio story this week. What'd you do this week? You had a very busy week.
Busy week. We had a girls' night out celebration for the United Way of St. Francis County. Raised several $1,000s, but we'll hear more about that with Suzanne coming up. Played trivia Friday nights for the Southeast Missouri Family Violence Council. We had them on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. And then Saturday, I was William Doobie Long.
Yes.
I spent my Saturday night at a cemetery in Farmington, Missouri, next to a headstone for William Dubart Long for about 2 hours, explaining to folks who I was and why I am important to Farmington's history.
That's why you have a hall named after you. It had nothing to do with wasn't it your aunt had all that money and donated
he was a self-made millionaire.
Oh, okay,
William
good.
was. And then he moved to Canada, and he's got a business partner who married his sister. And when he died, he wanted some things named in his honor, and his sister filled out his wishes, and Long Hall.
Okay.
After William.
Wow, that's very, very cool. A little Farmington history in there as well. Had a busy week, had parent-teacher conferences this past week. That was a lot of fun. Of course, we had our final football game of the year on Friday night. Playoffs starting next week. We are not going to do playoffs because you will have to pay to watch. And we'll get into that a little bit later on in sports.
Yeah, my Thursday was interesting because I got up, I went to a Bible study at the Factory Diner, and I had me a bagel and bacon sandwich. Then we had Dine Out for the United Way, so I went and got another sandwich and some of the loaded tater tots that they have at Domino's.
Ooh, good job,
Very,
Domino's.
very good. Then I got a text message from my church saying they're having a spaghetti dinner, so I went and got some spaghetti
Yeah, I
to
saw that.
support the kids.
Yeah.
And then it was Girls' Night Out, which had some really good food. And I probably ate about 432 Swedish meatballs and a few other things. Thursday was not a good diet day for me. Not a good diet day at all.
Oh, it happens. You got any music trivia? Any interesting music facts to share with us here?
I did not have time to get. I had something, and it just kind of. Well, I'll tell you what.
He remembers, maybe.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yes.
Was a good friend of mine. Never understood a single word he said, but he always had some mighty fine wine. That's a song made famous. Went to number 1 for Three Dog Night back in 1971. That song was originally written by a guy named Hoyt Axton.
Okay.
Hoyt Axton, who also, his mother, Hoyt's mother, wrote Heartbreak Hotel for Elvis Presley.
Really?
Yes, yes. And Hoyt also wrote a song. Remember the song The Pusher from Steppenwolf?
Yeah.
Can't repeat the lyrics to that one
Blank,
like I
blank,
could the
the
other
Pusher
one.
Man.
Yeah. That was also written by Hoyt Axton.
Wow.
And if you are a fan of WKRP in Cincinnati, in one episode, Jennifer's old boyfriend from back in the country came to court her one day, and it was Hoyt Axton.
Huh.
And he also did the song, You Work Your Fingers to the Bone. What do you get? Bony fingers. Bony fingers.
I was going to say Another Day Older and Deeper in Dead.
Well, that was James...
Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Tennessee Ernie Ford, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hoyt Axton, he was also in, I want to say, The Gremlins.
Really?
He sold the little gremlins to the little boy and said, never get them wet. Remember that?
Right. Don't feed him after midnight.
That was Hoyt Axton in that one, too. So there you go.
Wow.
All that started with us talking about Three Dog Night.
Very, very good. I got another story about the lead singer of Three Dog Night, but it's not
Which one?
Parkland
There's
Podcast.
3 of them.
Well, it was the one during Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog.
That'd be Chuck Negron.
It was Chuck Negron.
Okay.
But I can't
Danny
tell
Hutton
it.
was one of the other guys, and I can't think
Yeah.
of the third one.
I can't tell the Chuck Negron story. So there you go. A totally awesome radio story, some music trivia, and we're ready to go with episode 21 of the Parkland Podcast. Southeast Missouri Mental Health Center is a proud sponsor of the Parkland Podcast. They have been in our community since 1903, a long, long time, over 120 years. But I think the part that people maybe don't know about is this is a fantastic place to work, and they are still looking to fill a big position at their facility right now, Mark.
Yeah, they're looking for an advanced practice nurse to fill the position on their Southeast Regional Forensic Mobile Team. The position includes daytime travel, a flexible work schedule with remote work options available at a salary of $130,000 annually and tremendous benefits. The opening won't last long, so you definitely need to get your application in. All you have to do is apply with the Department of Mental Health by calling 573-218-6800 or go to dmh.mo.gov.
The state of Missouri is an equal opportunity employer. We celebrate diversity and are committed to creating an inclusive environment for all employees. Almost 75% of registered voters in St. Francis County voted in the 2020 presidential election. You can skip the lines and take advantage of in-person absentee voting. Go to Election Central at 1101 Suite 302 on Weber Road in Farmington, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and cast your ballot. All you need is a photo ID. Plus, you can go to the St. Francis County Clerk's website and find a sample ballot. Study up on the amendments and the candidates and be prepared when you step in the election booth. Take advantage of in-person absentee voting and make sure your vote counts this November. Let's do news. That's brought to you by Parkland Pharmacy, small town pharmacy at its finest with locations in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Greenville, and Piedmont. ParklandRx.com.
The city of Deloge has a full-time fire chief. At this past week's meeting of the Board of Aldermen, the approval was given to hire Chief Jared Metter to full-time status. The firehouse will be manned now Monday through Friday.
Big shout out to Ursula Warren, the Farmington Oaks Senior Center Director. She was named the Outstanding Nutrition Program Administrator by Aging Matters of Southeast Missouri. Ursula and the Executive Director were in person as Ursula received the award. Executive Director Carrie McQuarrie gave a special shout out to Ursula. Her quote says, "It's been a wonderful day celebrating a wonderful person and her team." Ursula Warren was named Outstanding Nutrition Program Administrator by Aging Matters. Ursula does a great job managing the senior food program with the assistance of her staff, and that's a special congratulations from Carrie from the East Missouri Action Agency.
There's going to be a big ceremony coming up on November 4th at 11 o'clock for Owl Creek Park. Phase 1 of the park, 1.25 miles of paved walking trails and over 3 miles of clear wilderness trails.
And that park formerly known as Bone Hole for all you old-timers out there. And the Uplift Day Shelter opening up this week. Entry time is 5 to 10 p.m. Exit time is 8 a.m. And if you're an agency wanting to donate meals to the Uplift Shelter, call Deborah Carter at 431-5191.
And the 6th Annual Regional Veterans Parade is Saturday, November 2nd in Farmington. The Grand Marshals will be Korean War veterans. The theme is May We Never Forget and Forever Honor Our Veterans. It's sponsored by Gentiva.
And now we will magically beam ourselves to Election Central on Weber Road and continue our news segment with St. Francis County Clerk Kevin Engler. We're back on the Parkland podcast, kind of sort of where it all began as we talked to St. Francis County Clerk Kevin Engler joining us, our very first guest.
That's right. I'm so honored.
I know, and now you're back again. Are you our first?
I put that on my resume now.
Right. That's right up there with all the other things that you did.
Yeah.
So I believe you're our first return guest, and that's because you have a lot going on right now.
Yeah, we sure do. This week will be crazy. We've got the election on the 5th. We're open all week next week from 8 to 6 in the evening here at our Weber Street location. It's the old doctor's office, catty corner from Mineral Area Hospital. And some people don't remember Mineral Area Hospital, so it's down the street from Catfish Kettle. That everybody knows where Catfish Kettle is. So come see us. We're half a mile north of Catfish Kettle. And we're putting between 600 and 800 people a day through here voting, so everything's going well.
What are you projecting for voter turnout?
I think we'll have 75%, maybe up to 80% voter turnout this year, which is huge considering most of these races are going to be decided or already decided. There won't be close like August. We had all these close races.
Right. Yeah, come on to vote, folks.
But this time it won't be quite that, but it's so big presidential and on TV so much that we think we'll have 75% turnout.
Presidential race, of course, but something that's really big in Missouri will involve all the different constitutional amendments.
That's right. It's got the 6 constitutional amendments. The average person takes 15 to 20 minutes to read them, so I would suggest that you read them before you get here. It just takes too long to go through it and try to determine that legalese and stuff. We've got the sample ballots here at my office that you can come in and get a ballot and fill it out and then cheat on the day of the election. You can bring it in and just copy what you already thought about and know what you wanted to do on. And then you don't have to vote on everything. We have got probably 6 judges that are being up for retention. I didn't know any of them. I didn't vote on any of them.
If you don't know any of them,
I don't
we
know
probably
any of
don't
them.
either.
So why should I take the time to fill in the blanks and stuff? And all the unopposed people. We're voting in here today, so you guys are welcome to come in. We won't record your vote, but we're talking about the elections, so you can vote on this side too, whatever you want to do.
We won't tell you how to vote.
But come on in. Worry. We're having 600 to 800 people a day. We'd like to have 25% of the eligible voters to be taken out of the system so they won't clog up the precincts because there's going to be lines. If you don't want to wait in a line, you better get in here because it just takes too long to read. And a lot of our locations don't have more than 8 or 10 places to vote. Well, once the people start reading for 15, 20 minutes, it's going to back up. And then the line's going to be out the door. And then you're going to go by and say, well, maybe I'll go after a while. The line will be, and then you go by and the line's not any better. We want you to vote. Come in this next couple of weeks. Your vote count. Somebody says yesterday, well, I heard that early voting, they don't count those. I said, well, I voted early, and I swear to God, I'm going to count mine.
I voted early.
So they count. Something else we hear a lot about is the voting machines. Our voting machines are no more than counters. They're not hooked up to the internet. They just count the votes that are on the ballots. And we tested them yesterday in a public testing. We will test them the week after. We will sample one precinct and take all the ballots and make sure it comes out exactly the way it said. So those machines, I'd stand behind them. These people that want to do hand counting voting just don't understand it. It will be longer, and it would be way more subjective because then you got to say, now, do you really think that was a Republican that voted for that, check that? I mean, they just checked a little bit of it. They were supposed to fill it in. They should have known that. That machine doesn't do that. If there's something in there, they count it. You know what I mean? Whereas we've got to sit there and make subject calls when you're hand counting, which is not the way I don't want to put my election in the hands of people that are 90% Republican districts, nor in people that are 90% Democratic districts. Mm-hmm. There's just too much temptation if you're hand counting to just fudge a little. That machine doesn't fudge. It comes out to the exact. So that's kind of what's happening in our world. We expect the late nights in some of these areas, but we think we'll be done by 9:30. We'll have them in, and we've got trained people ready to go.
Hey, we've done this long enough. I could remember some of those election nights being midnight. 12:30, 1 o'clock.
I got elected to the Senate, and Jefferson County hadn't come in. And I remember I had a representative of mine up there, and I thought I had enough votes to carry it. And I had to be in Jeff City the next day if I won. And it was already 1-something in the morning. We closed down two things. And so I just called the guy and said, just let me know. And so at 2:30 he calls me and says, it's over, you won. And I was asleep. I said, okay, thanks. And just, because I was so tired. And I, like I said, had to drive Jeff City the next day. But that was a 2 o'clock deal when it was over in Jefferson County, and I think we'll be done at 9. So I hope so. If not, then we've got problems.
So when people come in for in-person absentee voting, what do they need to bring with them?
Just the driver's license. We have to have, this is legislature. They've finally passed, I was on the first bill for photo ID, and that was 20 years ago. They finally got it passed a couple years ago so that you have to have a photo ID, which is a passport. But your driver's license got all the information on the back. We scan that, and it pops everything up, makes it quicker. But then at the same time, they didn't take away the law that says I have to send them a voter's card. So even though you can't use the voter card to vote, I still have to send you the vote card. They should have eliminated that when they required the. So I say it does work good for a second form of identification. So if you want to use it for that, or it does say where your precinct is, it's got some information, but you can't use it to vote.
So is the Amendment 3 the one that's gathering the most attention, or others?
There's a couple big ones on there. For the gaming industry, the electronic betting for the sports, they put a lot of money in it. The abortion is a very controversial bill, and that's bringing people out, and as well to a lesser extent the people that want to vote for their own raise that are on minimum wage, because that's the last one, and it's raising it to $13.75 next year and to $15 an hour the following January 1st. So I imagine that's going to bring some people out in other parts of the state, not so much here, but in other parts of the state.
Now, you can get the sample ballot on your website, right?
You can go to our website and get it, St. Francis County, and they've got the link to the elections in the county clerk, and we'll get it. Or you can pop by here and pick up a paper one if you like.
Now, you mentioned you think we're going to have pretty smooth sailing because of the election counting equipment. That's not going to be the case in all 50 states.
Nope,
Do you think that we're going to clearly know who our next president is on election night?
I wouldn't put money that you would.
Yeah. Because
in the 7 states that are more swing states, it's going to be tight. And so I would. Now, if North Carolina starts off because it closes their ballots at Eastern time. If it's a big move either way, for example, if Harris wins North Carolina, it may be over for Trump. If he holds it pretty strongly, then the indications might be that Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, that are the central states that will close down our area, they may be going a certain. If everything starts to go in the same direction, you may be able to call it early. But if it stays by 10 o'clock, that you've got Georgia and Wisconsin and Arizona that have not. Because the problem you have there is you have urban and rural. It's like Missouri. You could have, I remember when Shane Scholler ran for Secretary of State 10 years ago. One of my sons worked on the campaign. And at 1 o'clock I went to bed, and they were up by a lot. Then the city of St. Louis came in, 9-1 against him, and it got the other guy to win because you have urban and rural, and so it depends upon which votes are released. You could say, oh my gosh, he's winning, but maybe all rural areas that are reporting, small areas like ourselves that already have the results, and we're reporting conservative, we're reporting Republican, and then the metropolitan areas come in and bang, it can counter. So it depends on a lot of those factors. Are the big cities in already? If they're not in, you can't say it's over.
You mentioned North Carolina. What are some of the other big key swing states that we should watch for?
Pennsylvania, I think, is going to be the bellwether. Pennsylvania's got a lot of electoral votes, and it's got a lot of rural. And once again, you've only got 4 counties in Pennsylvania, 4 or 5 that vote Democrat, but they're Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Erie, and College Station. And what's in College Station?
Penn State University.
Penn State University. The universities always are more liberal. They say if you're not liberal when you're young, you have no heart, and if you're not conservative when you're old, you have no brain. So, so you take most like Madison, Wisconsin, they will vote straight Democrat.
Sure.
Because they are all believers and whatever. It's always that way. We were believers. I used to be a Democrat. When you're younger, things change. And so when you have an average voting age of, say, like 20 in Madison, Wisconsin, it's going to be different than Clerk, Wisconsin, or Ripon, where you've got a lot of seniors, and they tend to be more conservative. Not all; those are generalities, but that's the big mix. When you have a college town like Mizzou's, we used to call it the communist state of Columbia, because you get the Mizzou kids to vote for almost anything. It's different, but it's an interesting dynamic, and it's all depends. If you look at Pennsylvania, for example, and Buffalo's not been reported yet very heavily. That's only reported 10%, and Pittsburgh's only reported 10, 20%. And these out states are already in, and just because Trump's up 10% doesn't mean he's going to win, because when those come in and they're so heavily against the Republicans, that could change the game. So it's going to be interesting. Now, time we get out to, you have 2 swing states on the west, Nevada and Arizona. What time you get out there, you're going to have a pretty good idea. If they're picking off those states back east and they're able to call them early, it doesn't matter what they do.
So for folks locally wanting to keep up with election results, I'm sure they can come to election headquarters.
They can come here tonight, and we've gotten it down so we'll have it on the board here electronically like we did in August, and then we'll put it on our website as fast as we can do it.
And what's the website?
St. Francis County. So you do that, and you click to the county clerk or elections, and it will take you to what's currently being posted. And we'll do it by precinct, because the first one's usually the early voting, because we have it here, physically here, whereas let's say Bonne Terre takes 15 minutes. After you close and every voter's voted, it takes them 15, 20 minutes at least to just drive the stuff down here. So it's coming in a little bit later, where we have the thumb drives for the absentees in-house already. This is where we have them. So that'll be your first precincts released, and then we'll go whoever gets here first. We just take the thumb drive and their material in the next room, take the thumb drive, our computer expert from the company comes and plugs it in, says this is the results from that. And then about every 3 or 4 counties, we try to give you a little accumulation total to let you know what it is as of now for all of them put together, so you don't have to use any math.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, because I don't want you sitting here taking your shoes off if you're back.
Nobody wants
trying to do the math.
I believe 2 races. will be decided in St. Francis County with the District 2 Associate Commissioner.
That's correct.
And then the state representative in the northern half. Everything else,
Well, we have
there's a little
state
bit of...
senate
So, but that's going to bleed into other
gonna go
counties,
in the other
though. So really,
counties.
those are the two races
that are going to be decided here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then everything else will have a little bit. Obviously, the
From
Senate
someplace
district
else.
pretty big. The Southern District with Dale Wright goes into a couple counties.
Yes, I saw Parks Peterson yesterday, and I put money on him. I think he's going to do very well. Being unopposed, you either run unopposed or scared, and I've got the odds that he's going to. Him and Erik Dugal are going to. But I can't. Neither one of them have been opposed. What a deal! What a life! And I think I've run 13 times, been unopposed twice.
Right.
Maybe because I stir it up, and somebody's always usually mad at me, so they're running against me. So that's okay.
They're
It's
too
kind of a
nice.
mixed bag.
As a fan of politics and somebody in your position, does it disappoint you that we don't have contested races every time, every race?
No, what disappointed me more than anything is the August race only having 20-something% turnout.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were deciding who the sheriff was going to be, because there was nobody on the Democratic ticket, who the state rep was going to be, who the state senator was going to be,
right,
and who the governor was going to be, and we had only 20-something% of the people. That when you really, those were close. I was worried about those races because I thought that we better. I don't anticipate, and that's what your county clerk's dream is, to have the votes a landslide, no matter which way it is, so that. Whether it's the Democrat that wins big or the Republican wins big, long as somebody's not 2 votes apart after they count 30,000, 40,000 votes here in the county, and having 2 votes, that you don't want that. It could make a big win either way. But and we anticipate that this time. The primary, I was real concerned with the 4-way race and the sheriff, and a couple of the other ones that we thought that it may come down to a handful of votes. Fortunately, it didn't, and so we didn't have to worry about it. But we got a great staff, though. Jackie and Valencia and Emily here at this office, and then the gals, Rhonda and Linda and Teresa and Korey from over at my other office come over for the day of the election to try. They were over yesterday because we were doing the public testing of the machines. So we had 2 of our workers here, and the phone was just, "Where do you vote? Where do you vote?" And they were, every time I'd walk in there, say, "You go down the street from Catfish." I could hear they ought to record. "Here, let me put you on this button, and we'll record how do you get here." But we've been here, and somebody says, "Well, when did you move?" Well, that's 7 years ago or so.
Right? Yeah, it's been a while.
6, 7 years ago. So it's been a little while. But we appreciate your coverage, especially tonight. But get out here and vote. Take it, and don't wait till next Friday because it's going to be busy. Come here these next few days, the next week, and we'll get you in and out. And you can. I read someplace the other day that only 80% of the people that fully intend on voting get to vote. And the reason is things happen that day. They're sick, or are their kids sick, or they have to stay over at work, and they can't get there. They intended on voting. Right. Well, there's no reason for that. Get in here now, and then you don't have to worry about if your kid's sick on the election day. I had somebody call me in August. They had an emergency procedure, and they were up in Barnes, and they wanted me to bring a ballot up. We don't have that kind of people that can send 2 people, a Democrat and Republican, up to Barnes. Yeah. When we're in the election now here in the county, we'll make every effort to accommodate that, but we can't just take our personnel and send them for 1 vote. So if that person would have voted in the 6 weeks prior, there wouldn't have been an issue. Right. Go ahead and vote. You don't know. I spoke to a group of seniors the other day, and I said, "Look around this room. There may be several of us not. This was a month ago. You can't tell who's going to be sick or dead. Very true. And we usually don't let dead people vote. So." Right.
Usually, unless you're in Chicago.
We make it a policy, try not to. Some of them, a couple that I saw yesterday, looked like they were possibly, but they were moving, so we kept them letting them vote. I had to put a mirror under the one guy's nose to make sure he could fog it up. And my gosh,
there it is.
You're a voter.
There it is. So we have Monday through Friday, 8 to 6.
8 to 6. Saturday, 8 to 2. And then Monday, 8 to 5, because by law it has to be cut off by 5 the day prior. So we'll only be here to 5 on that last day before the election on the 4th. And then the 5th is November 5th. This is my wife's birthday, and so we're celebrating by having the election for her. And she's happy that I'm going to be gone from 4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night on her birthday. So.
That works out great.
Yeah.
So the Saturday, November 2nd.
That's a birthday present. You get your birthday for a day.
So November 2nd is the only Saturday to vote in person.
That's it.
Okay, and that's from 8 until 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good.
We did do it to 8 till noon, but we decided to go ahead and give it a couple more hours because the last 4 years ago during COVID, we voted 600 people here on that Saturday morning.
Wow.
Which is cooking.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're voting there. The numbers are really good, but I'm telling you, you need to get in here. So it's a short wait. You can get, especially if you need some assistance or if you're in a walker or cane or anything. This is so much easier. If you can't get out of a car, we do curbside. Pull up under the awning, have whoever get a hold of us. We'll come out and vote you at the car.
Wow.
So we try to accommodate everybody. We want everybody to vote. I don't care if they vote against me. I'm not even on the ballot, but I don't care. But we'd like them to vote.
Municipal election coming up in April. Have you even looked past November to kind of see how that's shaking out?
Not much, but there's going to maybe a contended race in Farmington for the mayor that's coming up.
Multi-candidates.
There could be some multiple. So we'll look at that. They file in December, and we'll size that up. But that's, in comparison, that's a 7% turnout compared to a 70% turnout. The working of the thing is there you tell your people to bring a book and read in between voters. Here it's strap on and get your bathroom break when you can. That's that's
lots
good.
of coffee.
We like being busy. I'd much rather be busy
absolutely.
all day than sit there waiting for the next vote. Or they go a car. These guys could be voting. No, they went by. Here we're just going. It's like the Field of Dreams a while ago. You look and they were parking over the old hospital lot, and they were parking over there, and they were walking, and that's good. That's why we like to see it.
Very cool. Kevin, we always appreciate your time.
Yes,
Hey, happy to do it. I appreciate you guys, and I'm glad to see that the Parkland podcast is doing well.
Alive and well.
Are you guys going to cover live that night, or do you know yet?
Yeah, I think we're going to take this one off just because of the fact that only 2 races are going to be decided in-house.
There's not going to be a lot of local interest. You'll be able to turn on the TV and see who's winning nationally. That's what they're going to do.
Right.
But we'll be back for April.
Yeah, we'll be here
that
for
one.
April.
You're going to have a lot of local interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this time I'm going to Wolf Blitzer it in front of the board. And
then you can point and you can touch it, and we'll do the touch screen. Here, Ward 3 is lit up now, and they went with,
I can't believe the voters in Pendleton. Come on. Kevin, appreciate it as always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming in.
Kevin Engler, St. Francis County Clerk. Get out and vote in person. Absentee voting going on right now through the day before Election Day. Heimberger Construction, heimbergerconstruction.com. Since 1978, they've been putting together fantastic buildings around the Parkland. You can see them, and they have a secret weapon when it comes to their buildings, and a fine organization that helps there.
Well, one of their secret weapons is Jennifer herself.
Right, yes.
She is awesome and amazing, but they also specialize in Butler buildings. They are the best metal building systems on the market, the only buildings that have a pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. And I am sure if you travel around the area, you're going to see a Heimberger-built building.
Mocap in Park Hills and Farmington, Griffin Automotive in Bonne Terre, Legacy Products in Bonne Terre, Paramount Glass, the expansion in Park Hills, Crown Valley Winery, just to name a few. Their website's beautiful, heimbergerconstruction.com. Give Jenny a call today, 431-4387.
Good people to work with.
The St. Francis County Republican Central Committee wants to make sure that our rights are protected this November. The committee endorses Mike Henderson for Missouri State Senate District 3. Becky Lobinger for State Representative in the 117th District. Carrie Buckley for St. Francis County District 1 Associate Commissioner. And Dale Wright for State Representative in the 116th District. These candidates represent conservative values and will uphold the Constitution and protect the freedoms that make America great. This message paid for by the St. Francis County Republican Central Committee. Kyle Smith, Treasurer. Let's check the events page, brought to you by Discover Farmington. More than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.gov allows you to find out about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
There is a trunk or treat coming up on Wednesday at the Leadington Plaza, starting at 5 o'clock.
Dine Out for the United Way of St. Francis County continues on Halloween at both Farmington McDonald's locations.
Also, coming up on Thursday at St. Paul School in Farmington, there's a big trunk or treat celebration. Everybody's welcome to come by for that as well.
And another Halloween trunk or treat for you. This happens at the Catfish Kettle parking lot, and that's from 5 to 7 Halloween night.
Habitat for Humanity's annual housewarming is coming up Friday, November 1st at White Magnolia Banquet Hall in Leadington.
St. Joseph Catholic School hosting the annual Green Gala benefit auction for the school. That is Saturday, November 2nd after Mass.
A big shout out to Dr. Perry and the staff at Farmington Family Dental. They are doing a big day of free care for veterans at their office, Farmington Family Dental, off of Karsh Boulevard. You do need to schedule an appointment by calling 573-756-5760.
Couple of blood drives happening in November at New Heights Church on November 6th and Farmington High School on November the 8th.
Mrs. Roper's Romp Boutique Crawl is coming up November 16th in Farmington. You can contact the Farmington Chamber if you want more information on that.
And the Turkey Trot and 1 Mile Gobble Wobble is happening Thanksgiving Day. That event begins that morning at the Farmington Public Library. Will you be running in that?
I will not be running in that. I have done a couple of 5Ks in my day, but never the one on Thanksgiving because I usually get in my car and drive to my brother's house on Thanksgiving.
What's the food like there?
Good.
Good stuff. There you go. That's the events page presented by Discover Farmington. More than you ever imagined. Find out about local events, even book a wedding or day trip on their great website, discoverfarmingtonmo.com. Let's do birthdays, anniversaries now on the Parkland podcast. They are brought to you by Heimberger Construction, Heimberger.com, the website. They have those Butler buildings, and they are sponsoring your birthdays this week on the Parkland podcast. Mark Toti, master of birthdays. Who do you have for Monday, October 28th?
Well, one quick correction. We wished Teresa Human a happy birthday last week. We thought it was on Sunday, but I saw her at Girls' Night Out for the United Way, and her birthday is actually on Monday. So we get to double dip on birthdays with Teresa. You don't have to be a year older, just a year better. So happy birthday to you. One of the best basketball players ever to come out of Perryville, Missouri, Tori Gray, celebrates a birthday on Monday, married to Kevin Gray. They had a couple of really good athletes in their family, too, with their kiddos. And Tori, happy birthday. She was Tori Taylor when she came out of Perryville High School. And Katie Despain from Fredericktown. Happy birthday to you, Miss Katie. I hope you have a great, great day.
I do too, Katie. I hope it's a great one for you. How about John Robinson Jr.?
The man.
Son of John Robinson, former, sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah.
Working there at Pettis Chrysler. John Robinson Jr. interned at KFMO back in the day.
Huh.
And he got to come with, I think it was Greg Allen and I, or me and somebody else, and we did a baseball game. And it was one of those days where we had a canopy up because it was raining, and then it stopped raining, so we started moving the table back. And John was such a go-getter, he started grabbing stuff, and he moved the board over, and then he popped his head on the tent, and about a gallon of water came off the top of the tent and went into the mixing board. But it still worked. So there you go.
Nice.
And now he's an award-winning journalist out there.
Newspaper
writing.
guy.
Yeah. So way to go, John. Hope it's a great birthday for you. Speaking of a former newspaper guy, one of my old buddies from the Daily Journal back in the day, Chris Klein.
Yeah, Chris.
With a birthday. Chris now an insurance guy. I believe he's in the Columbia, Jeff City area. And baby boomer performer extraordinaire, Miss Chelsea Collins. What a great singer she is. And a good mom, too. Happy birthday, Chelsea, on Monday, October 28th. How about Tuesday, October 29th?
Hey, our good friend and good friend of the podcast, Mike Henderson.
My old coach.
Yeah, Coach Mike. Interviewed him as an educator at North County, as a state representative, and who knows with the elections here what his next step will be. But Mike, happy birthday to you from Sherry, from your kids, and from your grandson. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day. My buddy Chris Maxson celebrates a birthday today. He works with the St. Francis County Ambulance District. Several years ago, the Ambulance District partnered up with my former radio station, and they did a big, massive trunk or treat at the St. Francis County Raceway.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. They had all the different emergency vehicles out there. It was great, and Chris was a big organizer of that. Betty Jelinek celebrating a birthday Tuesday with the most famous for the Bismarck Senior Center.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you,
Great job
Betty.
there.
Melissa Davis celebrating a birthday, married to Kevin Davis, a local pastor. Happy birthday to you, Melissa. And Amanda Asbury celebrating a birthday. She is a nurse. She used to work at Sticks and Steins, and yeah, I've been known to go there a time or two. But Amanda, happy birthday to you. I've always loved that gal. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Yeah, I saw her at parent-teacher conferences Tuesday night. Her daughter,
Yeah.
Lily, is in my seminar class, and she is about as good of a human as you'll ever find.
Well, gets it from her mama.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably okay, too.
Yeah.
Happy birthday Tuesday to my cousin Wendy Smith of Fredericktown with a birthday. Happy birthday, Wendy. Anna Hammers of Deloge celebrating a birthday. Another baby boomer performer, Beth Tripp. Beth's a great singer, and her birthday is on Tuesday. Bobby Fields with a birthday on Tuesday as well. And former student, this is the only time this is ever going to happen, Hayes Pacheco was a student of mine at the Unitech Career Center because she started her junior year at Fredericktown, moved to Farmington halfway through, and then her senior year, she was in my Black Knight TV class.
That may be the coolest name we've ever had on the birthday list.
Hayes Pacheco.
Hayes Pacheco. I love that name.
Happy birthday, Hayes. Hope it's awesome for you. What about Wednesday, October 30th?
Hey, Wednesday, our good buddy Derek Eves celebrates a birthday today. Derek was a really good athlete at Farmington High School back in the day. Sadly for Derek, back in the day, takes us back about 30 some odd years, but that's another story for another time. Derek, happy birthday to you. Now he's
Assistant principal at Farmington High School.
Farmington
now.
High
Yeah.
School. He was at Farmington, went to Fredericktown. Now he's back at Farmington. So
We like him.
yeah,
We'll keep him.
We'll keep Derek around for a while. Happy birthday to former guest on the podcast, Brianna Griffin, celebrating a birthday today. She's probably at least tied for first as my favorite health center employee.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt about that.
Happy birthday to you, and I hope you're working up another quiz for Jason and I for the
Yes.
next time we have you on the podcast.
That was great. I enjoyed that.
That was fun. That was fun. Happy birthday to you, Alicia Alvers. She's a good Potosi girl celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. She makes the best blueberry muffins. Oh, they are so good. And she works at Spokes Pub and Grill, sponsor of the podcast. Happy birthday to you from your husband and from Donnie Eaton and all your friends at Spokes. Happy birthday to Lauren Hancock. She worked at J98. Her and I went up to St. Louis, and I'm going to save most of this for another Toti radio story.
Okay.
But we did a broadcast from the All-Star game when it was in St. Louis.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Quite interesting. We'll have that next week on the podcast.
Okay.
And then Walt Barron, our
Hey,
good buddy,
Walt.
Walt Barron. Happy birthday to you. Walt wants to be on the podcast, and we can arrange that.
Yeah.
His daughter was on the podcast just a few weeks
His
ago.
son wants to be on the podcast, too. I don't know if you know Nate.
It's a family affair. We could have them all. It'll be the all-Baron format.
That would be interesting to get the three of them together. I don't know if the podcast can handle that. One more birthday. You got another one for the 30th?
No, you got them all.
Katie Christopher with a birthday today. She graduated from North County, went to Mizzou, became a part of Team Fredbird with the St. Louis Cardinals, and now she's like a big-time real estate agent, I believe, in Nashville, Tennessee. So way to go, Katie. Happy birthday to you on October 3rd. I keep doing. Okay, I'm going to tell this one. This is embarrassing to me, not Katie. So I'll go ahead and let it out here. So Katie, when she was on Team Fredbird, we had arranged for her to come do an interview at B104 back as they were a Cardinals affiliate. And I think she was supposed to come at like 9:15. So 8:30, I'm in the studio and I'm, voice tracked up. I'm ready to do the interview. My tummy's hurting a little bit, and I'm thinking, okay, nobody's going to be in the studio with me for the next 30 minutes. So I just kind of lean over and I relieve my stomach.
Nature.
Yeah. And of course, as soon as that happens, Ann DeBold, Ann was always such a great lady to work with there at the radio station, comes to the bottom of the steps and yells up the stairs, "Jason, Katie's here to see you." And here comes Katie Christopher walking into a freshly farted radio studio.
There you go.
Yeah, anyways. Sorry, Katie. And, she acted like nothing happened, so hopefully like she had a stuffed up nose that day or something. That would have been great for me.
We could only hope.
All right, tell me about the boo babies that you know. People born on Halloween.
Well, we'll start off with Karen Clevey. Happy birthday to you from your husband and your family, Karen. I hope you are doing well. Ronnie Long, married to Kim Long at J98
Hey, Ronnie,
Radio.
that's right. We do have the same birthday.
Yeah, Ronnie's celebrating a birthday today. Ronnie, hope you're doing well. Sean Malone, former J98.
He's at KMOX now.
Yeah, he's doing well for himself.
He is doing well.
Got married, cut his hair finally after about 5 years. Happy birthday to you. And some guy named Lowry celebrating a birthday to you. Happy birthday to the guy that not only got me into podcasting, but actually explained to me what a podcast was. So hired him 30 some odd years ago. Did a great job for us, and then he went on to bigger and better things, and here we are again.
Here we are together again. So, yeah, happy birthday. Thank you very, very much.
A wife and 3 kids later.
A wife, yeah, and 16 jobs, 17 jobs, I think, something like that. Happy birthday to Rose Wiseman. Rose celebrating a birthday on Halloween. I think I've wished Rose a happy birthday since we were both in high school. Byron Davenport, my cousin Byron, is also a boo baby.
Big sweaty?
No, he's sweaty. He's not quite as big. He's but yeah, happy birthday, Byron. And John Wigger, Deloge alderman and star of Forged in Fire reality TV show, is a boo baby as well. John, that's a birthday wish from all your family on Thursday. How about Friday, November 1st?
Friday, she is the director of CASA of the Parkland and one of the sweetest gals you will ever hope to meet, and she will be a guest on an upcoming edition of the podcast. Joanna Watts, celebrating a birthday today on Friday. Happy birthday to you from your husband and your daughter and from all of your family. She is really amazing and has a heart of gold. Lisa Messick celebrates a birthday on Friday. You know her better as Lisa Boyd, a very, very good basketball player.
Yeah.
Runs in the family. I'd like to, you put them all on a level playing field and see who would win a game of horse. Lisa, her brother John, or their dad Charlie.
Oh my, that's tough.
I'd go with Charlie, then Lisa, and then John. Sorry, John. Darn good accountant, but I'm taking Lisa and Charlie over you in a game of horse.
I got Dawn Pettis. Dawn is in charge of ODAX in Park Hills.
Yes.
Dawn was born a day after me, but only hours apart. And our moms kind of got to know each other in the hospital that night. I think I was born at like 10:48 p.m., and she was born right after midnight. So we've always joked and said that we're brother and sister. Happy birthday to Dawn. Stacy Snyder, Adult Education Director at the Unitech Career Center, with a birthday on Friday as well. How about Saturday, November 2nd?
Saturday. Mike Eves, the father of the aforementioned Derek Eves, celebrating a birthday. Mike was the postmaster in Farmington for a whole bunch of years. Mike, happy birthday to you. Mike has not aged a bit in the 30-some-odd years I've known him. First time I met him, his hair was completely white. It still is.
Oh.
So he hasn't changed a bit. Happy birthday to Donnie Bess. Donnie, happy birthday wishes to you from all of your family. Carla Gibbs celebrating a birthday on Sunday. She is married to Craig Gibbs.
Carla's a great educator, too.
She's just a great person. So happy birthday to you from your husband and your daughters. And my buddy Al Moss of Fredericktown with a birthday Saturday. I went to the Feed the Families celebration they do every year. It's kind of like Help the Hungry. Mm-hmm. And there was a jar of homemade pickles there, and they're supposedly the best pickles in Fredericktown and all of Madison County. And they were on a silent auction. So I started bidding on them, and I kept getting outbid. And finally, I ended up getting them, and I ended up paying $40 for this jar of pickles. And I found out it was that dadgum Al Moss that was bidding me up. So I've never forgotten that, Al. I didn't share my pickles with you after that. I figured $40, I'm going to enjoy every one of those pickles. But they were sure good.
And eat them in front of him.
Yeah, happy birthday to you and from your wife and your whole family.
Here's somebody we've interviewed a lot over the years, Jean Merrill Doss.
Lean, mean, Dean, Jean Merrill Doss.
Dean Jean. Always love to say that. Happy birthday, Jean.
She makes great salsa.
Yes, she does. I've had that before.
Yes, and
My
cookies.
Goodness, yeah. Oh, I can imagine that too. Jessica Barton. Apparently, she's taken over a job for somebody that did a job for many, many years. Ginger Williams, that's going to be her replacement. Happy birthday to you, Jessica, leaving the pharmacy world behind and getting in there to help out people. Happy birthday, Jessica. And former student of mine, R.J. Cole, and R.J. was always called Student R.J. because I had two R.J.s at the same time. One was a Mac student, and then R.J. was from North County. So poor R.J. Cole had to be student R.J., whereas R.J. Griffith was adult R.J.
There was an old TV show back in the day called Fridays.
Yeah.
And one of the skits on there was, you could call me Jay, you can call me Ray, you can call me Jay, you can call me RJ, you can call me RJJ Jr., but you doesn't have to call me Johnson. So every time I see an RJ, that's what I think of. That show was famous because it had a very young Cosmo Kramer on it.
Yeah.
He was in that show.
There was a couple of, if I remember, like I've seen the poster for that, and I think there were a couple other comedians that got their start there
They were
too.
trying to compete with Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
It didn't work out well, but they had some really funny skits on there.
Yeah, Michael Richards, a big part of that show. How about Sunday, November 3rd? Who are your birthdays?
One of my all-time favorite people celebrating a birthday on Sunday, Colleen K. Gallagher, the lead singer for Route 67.
She's so good.
She is wonderful. She is very talented. Probably the highlight of her life, other than the birth of her daughter and being married to Jim, was getting to meet Loretta Lynn.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to you, Colleen. She can flat out sing.
And if memory serves, she was like singing like her whole life. Like
Yeah,
when she was a kid, she was kind of a big star too.
She tried out for a role in a movie about Loretta Lynn. She didn't get the part, but she got to meet Loretta, and that was just as good.
Wow, cool.
Happy birthday to Erin Files, married to Andy. Erin used to work at J98 Radio. I met her when she was about 15 or 16. She worked at the Farmington Civic Center. She talked me into buying a magazine subscription that I didn't really need, but she was so nice that I bought it from her, and it started a string of about 8 years in a row where a Farmington kid caught me, and I bought a magazine that I really didn't want or need, but just because they were so nice, I bought from them. So, Erin, happy birthday. She's a grandma now. How old am I?
Wow, yeah.
Our good buddy, Kevin Thurman.
K-Dog.
Stretch. Happy birthday, Shorty. Hope you are doing good. Kevin does a great job at the college, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife.
Plug
with
him
all the
in.
different. Yeah, he can handle he and Roy Henson are like the Jose Oquendos of Mineral Area College. They can do just about anything there.
Roy Henson. Boy, we could do a whole show on Roy Henson.
We are eventually one of these days whenever he's awake enough to join us on a Saturday morning.
And Alyssa Cresswell celebrating a birthday. She is a graduate of Central High School, played softball there. Got to meet her when she was a server at Spokes Pub and Grill. Just an awesome gal. She has a little boy now, and I wished her boy a happy birthday on the radio one year, and she recorded it and played it back. It was great. It was great to watch the reaction on his face.
Oh, speaking of reactions, because I'm done with birthdays, how about young James Holsey's reaction that was on our Facebook page? Check that out. A personal thank you to Mark Toti.
That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. James, happy birthday, buddy. Hope you're doing great.
You get another one, buddy. There you go.
Yeah.
Those are your birthdays and your anniversaries, and they're presented by Heimberger Construction and HeimbergerConstruction.com.
What about Debbie Pace?
Oh, happy birthday, Debbie Pace.
Hey, Debbie, we got your back.
Happy birthday, Debbie. That one's also courtesy of Heimberger Construction. Parkland Pharmacy, local pharmacy at its finest. Cool T-shirts and swag and basketballs and warmies and skinny syrups, and very, very needed at this time because we are getting ready to roll into cold and flu season.
They are right in the midst of handing out flu shots, and they've got the COVID updates that they can provide you as well. And coming up in November for you Medicare folks, you've got Judy Boring that can help you find the right plan for you. They are all about local at Parkland Pharmacy. Whichever location you decide to go to, you will love the customer service, you will love the people, and you will love the products.
And you will love how much better you feel thanks to everything available at Parkland Pharmacy. Again, they're in Deloge, they're in Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. ParklandRx.com. Parkland Pharmacy, fine sponsor of the Parkland Podcast. Save-A-Lots of the Parkland. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. And in addition to saving you money on your grocery bill, which we all need right now, they got a really cool promotion that they just started.
It's on their Facebook page. They are introducing Save-A-Lot Rewards. Download the new app to earn dots and save lots at participating locations. And there are all kinds of reasons to go to the Save-A-Lot Facebook page. I am on it right now, as a matter of fact. They invite you to stop by, check it out, and save on every day that ends in Y.
Oh, wow. I think that's every day.
That is every day. Shop the dot with Save-A-Lot.
Oh, I love going to Save-A-Lot and checking out all the unique grocery items they have there. And the 5 for $24.99. Been trying to mix it up a little bit, but I always come back to the popcorn chicken and the chicken fries. I think my kids could eat that any day of the week that ends in Y. But I always am able to save money at my local Save-A-Lot store. And you can too. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. And they sponsor the Parkland Podcast.
Thank you.
Let's check sports on the Parkland Podcast. Our Parkland Sports Live Week 9 finale was a good ball game between the Central Rebels and Farmington Knights. Let's get a recap from Chad Speaker and Jake Widener.
We welcome you back to Rebel Field here as the Farmington Knights are victorious over the Central Rebels tonight, 42-28, despite being down by 14 points to start the fourth quarter of play. And as we take a look at the stats in this ball game, Farmington rolls in the fourth quarter. They get 385 total yards, 381 of them on the ground, and they split them up almost three ways. Kason McLean, 12 carries, 95 yards, 3 scores. Josh McCarthy, 142 yards rushing on only 11 carries, but he kind of started them on the way back, Jake, with that 81-yard jaunt. That was his big touchdown. Brett Dry, consistent with 141 yards rushing tonight on 11 carries. Well, he started the game with a 57-yard touchdown run. 385 all told for the Knights, 381 on the ground. The Central Rebels get 187 yards rushing, 109 from Jackson Jones. Jones completes 7 passes for 56 yards tonight, 243 total for the Central Rebels. They get 15 from Karis Foster, 46 from Barrett Henson, and 17 from August Black. So 243 all told for Central. 92 of those yards came on one drive.
Yeah, and that's what's hard to understand. You had two different identities out of both teams. The first half is owned by Central. All the small little breaks kind of went their way and kind of put Farmington in a hole. And then you look into the second half and you see the amount of mistakes that we had alluded to at halftime, that Central had played one half completely clean. So that was kind of the hard part to understand, is just how halftime made such an impact, drastic impact on both of these programs. So again, though, you alluded to it, the ground game just couldn't be stopped in the second half by Farmington. That was such a big identity to changing, that 3-score switch that they had, seeing McCarthy break off that 81-yarder, and then just seeing the front line, the gaps that they were giving McLean inside in the second half of football. You tip your cap to both squads. I mean, it was a well-fought ball game, but you tip your cap to the offensive line of Farmington.
After the ball game, Farmington Knights head coach Erik Kruppe.
Watch a lot of football. I've been involved in a lot of football, but the way that flipped towards the beginning of the fourth quarter, just what did you see from your group, and where did that thing change, and how much did you have to stick with that thing, because you had a lot go against you tonight to still get a win?
Well, I told him, I don't know, probably about 10 times, and I don't have any other words. I just told them how proud I was of them, because that was awesome. That was an awesome football game. I'll be honest, Mike, this is the game that I circled in the offseason. This was the game, and I am very proud of our kids for how they played in the second half. Going into halftime down, it was actually a 2-score game a couple times, but our kids did not stop. They kept on playing, and they got that thing turned around. And like I said, I can't be more proud of them for how they finished that football game. That was a game that we needed to get, and they did everything they could to get it.
How difficult is it for young athletes to stay through a process like that, a game like that, because there were times where everything that could go wrong went wrong and you stayed with it? How tough, though, is that for high school kids to have that mentality? I understand a pro and college level kid, but for a high school kid to stick with that?
Well, I don't think it's easy. Obviously, every kid's a little bit different, and every kid's built a little bit differently, but it's not the easiest thing in the world, and for them to keep on playing, keep on fighting, doing it for the brothers, doing it for themselves was awesome to watch. And like I said, I can't say enough how proud I am of them for the fight that they showed.
You got the big defensive stop, down 2 scores. They took over at the 11. The game seemed to tilt right there. How big was that?
That was huge, because if it goes to 3 scores, and then you're really it's a really big hill to climb. And to get that big stop when they started with the ball inside the 15-yard line, that was huge. And then the big explosive play at the very start of the fourth quarter to get us back to within a score, that sort of set the tone, and then it just continued to roll from there. And for them to be controlling the line of scrimmage for the first 2.5 quarters, to sort of take that back a little bit was awesome.
Going to give you the chance to brag a little bit on the guys offensively, particularly up front on the run game. I mean, you got 3 guys nearly that got to 100 yards plus tonight. Your guys up front, what have you seen from them, and how difficult is that job that they have that sometimes is very unsung?
Oh, it is, and they did a great job. Obviously, we were able to, especially in the second half, really start to chunk down the field. I'll just go from left to right: Keaton Gibbs, Scott Fripp, Korey Crawford, Connor Farrell White, McDowell. Those guys did a tremendous job today, and you're right, they are the unsung members of a football team, because when you've got your Dries and McLeans and McCarthys and Rices and all those guys that they're the names that are getting called on a play-by-play basis, it's because of what those other guys are doing.
Wrap it up with this: how do you feel about your team as you get ready to start district play?
Well, again, I like to fight and finish there, and that's the most important thing. And so obviously, again, build on that, and we'll find out probably tomorrow night. We'll get a good idea of who we're going to go ahead and play, and then we'll get ready. And again, now it's survive in advance and see how many games we can get ourselves.
Good luck moving forward. Congrats on this one.
Thank you.
Head coach of the Farmington Knights, guys, that's Erik Kruppe.
Central Rebel head coach Korey Schweiss.
Here.
Is Mike on?
And you are with us now.
Is Mike Reeves on?
He is right down
Sorry
there,
about that, Mike.
raising his hand. Yeah, so that Mike could come up and ask some questions.
Yeah, I'll let Mike ask me some questions. I'm sure he's going to have some dandies.
Coach, I know.
Hey, we can do it from right here. You want to do it from right here?
Sure, that's fine, whatever.
Mike, why don't you just go ahead?
All right, hey, we'll just do it from here. Coach, I'll start with this. I mean, you were doing what I thought you wanted to do with the ball, and a lot of things were going your way. You were creating turnovers. What kind of flipped the game? We talked so much about that possession at the 11-yard line when you didn't score, you burned a couple of timeouts. How big was that? And then just from your perception, what went wrong towards the latter part of the game?
Well, it was so frustrating right there. We get up 2 scores. We got a lot of momentum. We get a big break on that kickoff. I guess we get the ball like at the 11 or 12, something like that. We'd been, being able to move the ball at will all night in that package, and we had an offensive lineman come out. It's crazy how much it seems like 1 or 2 guys make a difference sometimes, but we had a couple guys that couldn't play that next offensive series, and so we were going backwards, and then, then we tried to run a play, and we line up in the wrong formation, so I have to burn a timeout, and then we call another play, and the guy doesn't run what he's supposed to run. That was bad. That whole thing just kind of it just turned the tides of the whole game. We go up 3 scores right there, and I have a feeling this would probably been a different outcome. They would have had their daubers down, and we'd had all the momentum in the world. But instead, they get a big stop there, and then I think they score. I guess that took us right into the fourth quarter, and then they score on the first play of the fourth quarter, like 80, probably 90 yards, something like that, and obviously pull it back to 1 score at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and you go from a 3-score game to potentially a 1-score game right there. So that obviously was the critical part of the game. And, we never say one thing that makes a difference, but in that particular case, being up 3 scores would have been really nice right there.
Korey, what did you see that allowed them to have the number of big running plays they had, the big chunk plays, the big scoring plays? What were you seeing?
Man, I don't know. I think we played some guys on offense tonight that we hadn't played on offense all year to try to get our best 11 out there, and I think it looked like we got tired. Also, we were doing some different things with our front, same things we were doing in the first half, and we weren't executing what we were calling. Like we would call a pound, and our guys are supposed to go down, and they would shoot up field, and sometimes we read it, but our guys this year, for whatever reason, are having trouble reading like we've always read in the past. So sometimes you got to dictate what they do and don't let them read it, and then they don't even do what you tell them to do. So, and I'm not putting blame on the kids. I love my guys, but it's been a struggle for us all year. That's why we're just an average football team this year, because we really struggled doing some basic things, and for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but I've been doing this a long time, and we just can't get. I don't think I'm teaching any worse. I don't feel like our teaching is any different, but it's not. Our guys just don't seem to be getting it like they have in years past. So we're going to have to change the way we actually teach things, but you only got so much time in a day, right? Like you can't review it. You got to hopefully they retain some stuff, and we've been struggling with retention big time this year.
With all that said, we'll wrap it up with this, as it's been a long night. But, Coach, you're going to get to district time, and that district is as balanced as I think there is in the state. I don't know all the districts across the state, but there's a lot of teams in there that on any given day, as you've seen throughout your schedule, anything could happen. You've got every right to think if you put it together, you could make a run at this thing. Given that you've lost 3 in a row, that things haven't gone the way you wanted, is your team in the right place going into this district? Can you pull this thing off, and what does it take to do so?
Well, we're always going to think we have a chance. We lost 3 in a row last year and won a state championship. So just because we lost 3 in a row doesn't mean, obviously the last 2 weeks we played 2 pretty good teams. This week, Farmington's better than a 4-4 record. They play a tough schedule. But, if we play like we did in the second half, we don't have a chance. If we play like we do in the first half, we do have a chance. And, we'll get Kennett next week, and, we'll see how that goes. If we can win that. If we can go 3-0 in the next 3 weeks, nobody will remember this Farmington game. They'll remember it next year when we're getting ready to play them again, because they'll talk about it. But at the end of the day, we've been on the other end of this a lot going into this districts, 9-0, 8-1, whatever, and everybody says, oh, we're starting over. Well, now we're that team. We're starting over. We got to wash this, and we played all the teams in our district, so we know what we're getting. It's just just last week we played the number 1 seed, and it was a lot like tonight. Honestly, we played really well at times, and then we're just not a consistent football team, and that's why we're just average right now. But we got a little time to just try to fix that. We've had a lot of time already and haven't done it, so I don't know. Maybe we will.
Good luck to you moving forward. Thank you for the long distance interview. First time we've done something like this. Thank you, sir.
I'm an ugly guy anyway, Mike. You probably didn't want to see me. I do want to say before we get off, I am giving my testimony tonight in the gym after the game for our 5th quarter. So if any of the kids out there are listening to this, I don't know if they will be, but if they are, everybody's invited to come in there. Oh, sorry, I just broke something probably, but anyway, that stuff is way more important, than these football games. So, I would have rather been given this testimony after a win, but that'll probably just add to it because life's not always fair, life's not always easy. So it'll be a good message for the boys after a while. Thanks a lot.
Other Week 9 high school football saw DeSoto beat Herculaneum 43-6. Jackson all over Festus 43-7. Fredericktown shut out at East Prairie 39-0. Poplar Bluff a win over Hillsboro 36-28. Perryville continues their hot season 38-14 win over Cuba. Potosi outlasting St. Charles West 19-7. Caruthersville defeats St. Genevieve 42-20. Valley Catholic continues to roll 47-20 over St. Pius, as does St. Vincent 51-35 win at Jefferson, and Windsor defeats Bayless 24-8. And a final score from Thursday night sees North County defeat Sullivan 35-8. Now we look at the state playoffs in Class 2, Valley Catholic with the top seed in their district. Class 3, Central, the 2 seed. They will host Kennett. Herculaneum travels to St. Genevieve. And listen to this first-round game. Potosi at Fredericktown. Class 4, Festus, the top seed in the first-round bye. North County will host DeSoto. Sykeston goes to Hillsboro. And Windsor travels to Perryville. And then in Class 5, the Farmington Knights are the 3 seed, and they will host Poplar Bluff. And now, at this time, we want to congratulate somebody we know pretty well who's done a lot of work for Babe Ruth baseball over the years, Mr. Mark Hedrick.
Yeah, he's wonderful. His Babe Ruth family wants to congratulate Mark. He's been chosen as the recipient of the 2024 Babe Ruth Baseball Lefty Gomez Volunteer of the Year Award. He's put in nearly 50 years of service to youth baseball. Mark has worn many hats, from manager and umpire to league president, commissioner, and more. And I have seen firsthand all the work he does. He still has found time to be a county commissioner, a county clerk. He was president of the United Way of St. Francis County. Mark has done so many things over the years, and I can't think of a guy who deserves recognition more than him.
So congratulations to Mark Hedrick, winner of the 2024 Babe Ruth Baseball Lefty Gomez Volunteer of the Year Award. And that's your latest sports right here on the Parkland Podcast. The St. Francis County Republican Central Committee wants to make sure that our rights are protected this November. The committee endorses Mike Henderson for Missouri State Senate District 3. Becky Lobinger for State Representative in the 117th District. Carrie Buckley for St. Francis County District 1 Associate Commissioner. And Dale Wright for State Representative in the 116th District. These candidates represent conservative values and will uphold the Constitution and protect the freedoms that make America great. This message paid for by the St. Francis County Republican Central Committee. Kyle Smith, Treasurer. Almost 75% of registered voters in St. Francis County voted in the 2020 presidential election. You can skip the lines and take advantage of in-person absentee voting. Go to Election Central at 1101 Suite 302 on Weber Road in Farmington, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and cast your ballot. All you need is a photo ID. Plus, you can go to the St. Francis County Clerk's website and find a sample ballot. Study up on the amendments and the candidates and be prepared when you step in the election booth. Take advantage of in-person absentee voting and make sure your vote counts this November. It is the Halloween edition of the Parkland Podcast, and we are hanging out in the coolest Halloween yard in St. Francis County. It belongs to this young lady right here, Vickie Visnovski. It's on A Street in Farmington. Thank you so much for having us out here
thanks
today.
for being here.
Oh
It's
my
awesome.
gosh, this is so much fun.
This is like the social event of the year for me. And the hat just really tops it
I
off.
think you need it. I think you need
my
it. The
God.
hot glue is still drying on it.
Well,
It might be yours for a while.
I might get some scalp wounds off of this thing, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like Randy Macho Man Savage right now.
I know, right?
You need some armbands.
Oh yeah, I need some arms. Hey!
Hey. Okay, so my first question is, how many times do people stop and say something? And we've witnessed 3 since you've started.
Constantly, and I'm constantly like hoping there's not a wreck. We have a new stop sign, so hopefully that'll help. But yeah, I sometimes don't even pay attention. I'm just like, hey, keep going. But yeah. And at one point, the school bus driver said that they told the kids if they behaved, they would drive down in front of my house. So
Nice.
it was pretty cool.
How'd you get the idea for this?
Really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a retired high school art teacher, so, since I was little, I've been making stuff. I love Halloween. So, actually, years and years and years ago, I was in Metropolis, Illinois, home of Superman.
Yeah.
And there was this cool Victorian house, and they had it all decorated, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. And it just kind of went from there. So, I've been doing it for years.
How long have you lived here in this current
I've lived here
location?
16 years.
And every year you've had a display?
Yep, every year. It changes constantly because I get bored with it, and sometimes I pull pictures out to see what I did, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'll move the graveyard around, but I'm lucky that my neighbors are all in on it. They love it. So
What is it like here on Halloween night?
insane. It's just if I have friends that come over to help me pass out candy, they have to park in the back because it's just backed up. Also, there's a man, shout out to my neighbor, a couple streets over, that has a haunted house for the kids.
Yes, on Center Street, right? Yeah.
So they kind of bounce back and forth, and then if the trick-or-treats happen to correspond that year with Halloween night, then when they let out, we just get, and I usually run out of candy before I... Actually, confession, one year we ran out, and I told my friend, just grab it out of one kid's bag and stick it in the next kid's bag. They'll never know. Because I was like, I don't think they would can soup or anything. Like, we're out of candy,
A little public service announcement here. If you are driving on Halloween night on A Street and you are in a hurry, do not come by Vickie's house because it literally, I did that one year. It took me about 15 minutes to get from just down here to Karsh Boulevard.
Yeah. And then you get the poor Domino's drivers trying to get through because everybody's ordering pizza on Halloween night,
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, go ahead.
Tell us how this display began. Like, how big of a display did you have 16 years ago and compared to today?
I'd say it just keeps building. You just keep your stuff. I was telling you guys earlier, it's not made to last. So they want it, the Spirit Halloween. I love Spirit, Home Depot and all that, but they don't want it to last. So if things break down.
So they can buy more.
You have to buy more, and you have to learn to, plastic weld. But I would say I've started to go up.
Yeah.
At one point, last year I had my 12-foot doll up on the roof, and she just took too much wind. It was not. So I used to go up on the roof, but now I kind of avoid ladders. So, but yeah, up is the way. That's with the big 12-foot skeletons and yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I love the pink ponies.
That's good.
And actually, I will tell you, my favorite is the Wolfman with the purple bow on. He came out of my living room. He stays in my house. He doesn't get put away.
But, this is the Halloween thing, but what I've noticed in driving by here all the time is you change for the seasons too, don't you?
I do. I do all seasons. I kind of keep it kind of weird, so I know that's a surprise, but...
Here's a story about Vickie. Back in the day, because we've known each other a long, long, long time, she used to be an aerobics instructor over at Main Street Gym, I think it was. And all us guys would be in there lifting weights, and she was in with the gals doing aerobics, and she would always try to get us to come in and do aerobics, and we would say, no, that's for you girls, we're lifting weights. But whenever you did the ab work, we would all come in.
I forgot about that,
Yeah, and it would just wear us out.
Oh, yeah.
And now I can be honest with you on the podcast. Truth be told, we didn't think aerobics were for girls and it wasn't a manly thing. We were just afraid if we went in there and tried to do what you were doing, we'd end up throwing up after about 5 minutes.
Nice to know that after all these years.
Yes, true confessions on the Parkland podcast here.
Awesome.
So I think probably the biggest question that people want to know is, how much have you spent on this display over the years?
He asked me that earlier.
That's a real horror story.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I probably would not be driving a 2000 Subaru if I had all the money back that I've spent on Halloween. I don't know, probably 10, 15, 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you store it all?
I have buildings in the back, and I have to pack it all back there, and then I usually try to sort out, like, what's going. I got a friend that he decorates as well in Fredericktown, and he kind of gets my leftovers sometimes, but every year you kind of toss stuff out or bring stuff back. I just moved an inflatable that kind of went south on me, but yeah.
You can get lost in this just looking around.
I know. And at night, it's just a maze of extension cords. So that's why I have to keep. I used to let the kids in my yard, but there's just no way. I can't even walk through here without. You got to walk like you're walking in the back of a restaurant, like a horse.
Pick your feet up.
Step gingerly.
And I don't even want to talk about extension cord to extension cord to extension cord. That's like, I'm sure some kind of fire code,
How far away I know it's not just Farmington people that come by and look at this, is it?
I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, honestly. I mean, this is a main drag through town.
Sure.
So probably St. John or maybe Park Hills. I'm not, I don't have no idea. But a lot of times people tell me that if they have out-of-town guests come in, they always come by just to see what's going on out here, because there's always something going on.
Now, you have a little bit of a political theme mixed in with your display.
I do.
How has that been received in the area?
Really well, as far as I know. I have seen some people that normally I think would stop, kind of get the gist, and then floor it and speed on. So it's kind of like you keep scrolling,
Yeah.
Like you don't like it. But yeah, I actually was selling shirts. I made those shirts to match my sign. And so then my ploy was, if you buy a shirt, you can come in my yard and take a picture with my skelly. That's a 6X on that skelly. That's how big they are.
Wow.
I know, right? Yeah.
That is fantastic. Very, very cool. And we got people stopping by to check it out right now. Hi, how's it going? And
hey.
It just happens all the time.
Thank you.
And we got a little guy in the back seat there. Hi. Oh, he's got his mask on. Yes.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Same guy from Dollar General. I thought you liked it.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So what's
it's constantly changing.
Thank you. What time do people start showing up on Halloween to work?
4:45.
Wow.
I try to have, I give everybody a Tootsie Pop. So
While supplies last.
Do what?
While supplies last.
Yes. I'm trying not to downsize to Dum-Dums because they're like,
Right.
But I usually am prepared for about 1,200. But I run out. I always run out. I know. And it's mainly they just want to come. Last year I had cider for the adults, and the kids all wanted it, and I was like, 3 cents a cup. Yeah, let's go. I'm all over that. So it depends on the weather. I might do that again this year.
So, go ahead.
No, I say, what's the next big theme after Halloween? Is it Christmas or Thanksgiving?
I do hippie Christmas.
Okay.
Or hippie holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all, and then I do Valentine's Day and Easter, and then May, and then I just take the summer off because I'm like, I'm done with it by that point. I'm over it.
Okay, so November 1st happens, and it's time to make some changes, put things away. Typically, how long does that take to get your yard back?
I try to get it cleared out as quick as possible because honestly, by the time Halloween's over, people are pretty much done with Halloween. Like
Right.
they're ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I try to at least get it into my backyard and then get it up. You have to, I have tons of cameras. Once the lights go off, you have to get everything out of the yard because you can't even imagine how much stuff I've had stolen out of my yard.
I'll bet.
Oh, yeah. They took Gene Simmons. I had an outhouse. They stole Gene Simmons out of my outhouse.
Yes, I remember Gene.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, just kind of a safety thing. You got it. But honestly, I haven't had anything stolen in the last several years. So, who knows?
This has become a little treasure for Farmington, and they probably want it protected too.
I hope. I love that. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, one year I had decorated for Christmas. I did Blue Christmas, and I had Elvis. And I got up and I was like, everything but Elvis's scarf was gone.
Elvis has left the
Elvis
yard.
took a joyride. I can promise you.
Very, very cool. If somebody is interested in starting a display like this, what's your advice to them?
Save your money. Save your money up. Do not get a credit card. Actually, there's so many tutorials and DIYs.
Yeah.
I mean, expansion foam, hot glue, those are your friends. Expansion foam for real. Dollar Tree is a gem. Like those trees, those are actually foam noodles and plastic wrap with a heat gun. So there's just all kinds of stuff you can do. I mean, you end up spending more than you think you will,
Right.
But that, and then also Facebook Marketplace is not a good thing for Halloween. It is a good thing, but there's tons of stuff on there because people try to get rid, that's probably what I need to do is get rid of some of this and sell it on, but I get attached to it, so.
So like when you first started this, did you seek the advice of other people who did it, or you said, I'm just going to go with my gut and what I like?
Have I ever sought the advice of anybody for anything?
I knew knowing her for 30 years, I knew the answer to that.
Oh, Halloween gurus. No, I just do what I want.
Yeah, I kind of thought that would be the answer.
Yeah, if you don't like it, like I said, keep scrolling, Yeah.
Keep driving down A Street.
Right. My new favorite thing is that horse, but let me tell you, he is not very steady or sturdy, but he's cool. I love the horse skeleton and the pony as well.
The Pink Pony Club.
Free candy.
Here.
Yeah,
we're going to kind of do a panorama of all this too, right?
Absolutely. So let's take the camera around and let's have a look at Vickie's yard now.
Vickie, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for being here. This is awesome. Made my day. Made my whole season.
This is ours too. Trust me.
Display will be here all the way through Halloween night. Come to A Street in Farmington and check out Vickie Visnovski's Halloween display. Happy Halloween to you from the Parkland Podcast.
Happy Halloween!
Discover Farmington is more than you ever imagined. Their website is discoverfarmingtonmo.gov, and that is a great source of events, different things happening in the area. You're going to be involved in one of these events. What are you doing for Discover Farmington?
Yeah, they're going to have the 100th anniversary of Long Memorial Hall coming up at the end of this month, and they've got a number of people from throughout the community that will be portraying voices from the past, people who have had a history in Farmington. And I'm Howard Long, who Long Memorial Hall is named after.
Yeah, very, very cool.
My nickname is Doobie.
Doobie. That do be cool. Yeah. Also, they have the big Roaring 20s celebration. That's a little bit sooner on Saturday, October 19th at Long Memorial Hall. Tickets still remain for that. And I know they're also sponsoring the most spectacular TV theme song concert event ever in the history of the world/universe on Saturday, October 26th at the Centene Center. And again, go to the website, Discover Farmington, find out about all the neat things happening around the area and all the unique events and businesses we have here. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com, more than you've ever imagined.
Hi, Kristen.
Heimberger Construction, HeimbergerConstruction.com. Since 1978, they've been putting together fantastic buildings around the parkland. You can see them, and they have a secret weapon when it comes to their buildings and a fine organization that helps there.
Well, one of their secret weapons is Jennifer herself.
Right, yes.
She is awesome and amazing, but they also specialize in Butler buildings. They are the best metal building systems on the market, the only buildings that have a pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. And I am sure if you travel around the area, you're going to see a Heimberger-built building.
Mocap in Park Hills and Farmington, Griffin Automotive in Bonne Terre, Legacy Products in Bonne Terre, Paramount Glass, the expansion in Park Hills, Crown Valley Winery, just to name a few. Their website's beautiful, HeimbergerConstruction.com. Give Jenny a call today, 431 4387.
Good people to work with.
Let's talk about the United Way of St. Francis County here on the Parkland Podcast. And I am surrounded by United Way of St. Francis County royalty, of course, with the president of the United Way of St. Francis County this year, Mr. Mark Toti. You might know him from the Parkland Podcast. And then, of course, we have our brand new executive director joining us here at the barn. We have Suzzane Baker, executive director of the United Way of St. Francis County. Thanks so much for talking to us today, coming in, because I know you're very, very busy with the United Way season right now.
We are, but thank you for having us.
I got to tell you, Suzanne has been a fantastic hire for the United Way. She started in early October. You talk about hitting the ground running. She has made some great strides with the agency, and I can't wait for folks to really get to know her through this podcast and then just getting to meet her out in the community.
Yeah. So what's it been like being on the job for such a little amount of time and having to get to work right away, right?
I love it. This has been an awesome experience. The people of Farmington and the surrounding communities of St. Francis County have been so generous and so amazing to welcome me. It's been a wonderful, easy process.
And I know that we were talking before we started the interview, and you said it, Farmington feels like home for you.
It does. I'm originally from Jackson, Missouri, and moved up here and fell in love with Farmington and the surrounding area, and it's home. I love it.
Why the United Way? There's a lot of different groups and agencies out there, but what struck a chord with you about the United Way?
I absolutely love what the United Way stands for. I love helping people to be able to give to their highest human needs. So whatever the United Way can offer, we kind of have our hand in every pot. And I absolutely think that that is what makes United Way so successful. And that's what makes us stand out above every other organization that I have seen. So that's why I wanted to be involved, because I like to have our hand in every little pot and just try to really encompass everything into the United Way. So I'm really excited.
Now, one of the biggest fundraising efforts the United Way does every year is about to start, and that is the annual bell ringing
Should have brought
campaign.
a bell.
Should have brought the bell, yeah.
Should have brought the bell.
Are you excited to get that promotion going?
I am so excited. I grew up seeing the bell ringing, as we all, I'm sure, did. We just thought it was so iconic. I think it's such a wonderful, amazing event, and I'm just so excited to be such a big part of it. And I can't wait to ring the bell with our fellow board members and get everybody in our community excited and riled up to just go out there and ring the bell and give back to St. Francis County.
But you're no one-trick pony here, Suzanne. In addition, we had Girls' Night Out for the United Way of St. Francis County here recently, and we're right in the middle, I guess we should say the tail end of our dine-out program. So there, you've got a lot of irons in the fire, don't you?
Yes, we just finished Ghouls Night Out, which is our girls' night out last night. It was so fun and full of so much spooky adventure. Whiskerfish came and they made an incredible board for us. I called it a grazing board. They call it a charcuterie board. What do they call that?
Sharp. I always say it wrong.
It's
I
hard
say
to
it wrong
say.
too.
Yeah,
It's horrible, but
then I get in trouble.
It was beautiful. It was well executed, and that event was so much fun. And we ended up raising a little over $3,000 for our community. So how exciting! And then our dine out program has been bigger and better than ever. We just finished this week Domino's.
Yeah.
So while the girls got to go party at Ghouls Night, the boys got to go get their pizza. And then next week we're going to hit McDonald's in Farmington. So both locations will be participating.
Very, very cool. So go to McDonald's on Halloween and get your little Boo Box Happy Meal, and a portion of the proceeds from every purchase made on Halloween at either one of those Farmington McDonald's will go to the United Way of St. Francis County. Bell ringing signups. When does that roll out, and how does that work for people that want to volunteer?
So we are currently running our sign up through Sign Up Genius. That link is on Facebook, and I'll constantly be updating that. You'll see our little bells, but you can also contact the office or myself, and I will personally come and help you sign up if you're someone that doesn't really want to do the Sign Up Genius, doesn't really like the technology, or really just doesn't want to bother with it, just give me a call and I'll come right out there and we'll get you signed up for that. We're looking for organizations that want to do it, schools, any kind of fundraiser if you're needing community service hours. Anybody who wants to have a good time and wants to give back to their community needs to come out and ring this bell. It's just so much fun.
One of the big points of emphasis for the United Way of St. Francis County is that all the money raised stays local in the community to help agencies we support. And that's something that you are really stressing as you just get into your job as executive director.
Yes, we support so many local agencies. We can't do it without the support of the community. And so when you guys come out and help us ring these bells or come to our dine outs, that is supporting your community. So it's a great way to give back. And I do want to mention with the bell ringing, if you have a special talent, you don't have to stand out there and ring the bell. We have some people that are playing the violin. We have people that are singing, playing their tubas, dancing, anything that you have that's a special talent, you can showcase that as well as showcase your organization because you'll get to put your name out there and come and help us raise money for our communities.
Yeah, baseball teams can come in their uniforms, basketball teams.
Oh my gosh. Police officers, firemen, we invite you all. Come out and help your community.
I've seen this guy dance while he does it.
I got jiggy with it.
Yeah, a little
Great.
too much.
I
in
can't
some
wait to
ways.
see that this year.
But I know, like Dr. Kevin White from MAC, he always brings his trumpet and plays some Christmas music while he does his annual shift. There's been other folks that have done
Kurt
that.
Bauke has done that.
Yeah, Kurt Bauke does it every year. Gets the big old tuba out.
Yes.
And just boop, 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 like the whole time to try to get more money in the kitty. But you mentioned service hours too. I know a lot of high school students are looking to fill those out and get those hours in, and it's a great way to do it. Where will the kettles be this year?
So we're going to have them set up at 2 locations one in Farmington and then one at the Walmart in Deloche as well.
Okay.
Now, we're also getting towards the end of the year. This is a time when a lot of businesses or even individuals say, I need to maybe donate a little money here for tax purposes. Yes. This is where the United Way can help you with that.
Yeah, so anytime you have to give a charitable donation, we want you to just think about the United Way on your radar and just know that when you're giving your money, we're not giving it to one individual, we're using it to help our entire community. So if you need to give back some charitable donations, we are a great person to do that.
And don't forget about payroll deduction.
Yep. So we're doing payroll deductions. And I don't know if you know this. I know you know it. But when you're filling out your electric bill and your Farmington bills and our local community bills, well, there's a little box you can check at the bottom. And you can also donate through there, too. So $135 or another amount that you want to give. And it just comes right off of your bill, and it's just sent right to us. And that, again, helps your organizations here locally. So
United Way of SFC.org is the website. There you can see all of the events going on for the United Way of St. Francis County. You'll find Suzanne's email there, director at unitedwayofsfc.org. 760-UWAY, 760-8929 is the phone number.
Also, I want to ask you about your goals for 2025, your first full year at the helm. I know there's got to be some things you want to accomplish.
I do. I want to make sure that everybody knows the impact of what the United Way is doing in our area. So that's one of my major goals, is just really to step out there and let people know what we're doing and that we are a resource for people who are maybe struggling with some of their basic human needs. And so we're going to really focus on that, and we're going to focus on a system that we have called 211. 211 is a way that we can give back. If you need help, you can contact this number, and they'll set you up with resources that are not just locally, but globally. And so I really want to focus on that. And then I just want to focus on working on basic human needs in our community, finding out what those are, finding out how we can help, and what the United Way can do to service our community.
Very good. Next time we have you on, we'll talk about those grants that you're able to, you and the board are able to give out to these great local communities, and the process with which that happens too. I used to be on the board. I think is really, really good. I think everything is in place for that to be fair, and again, to help out all these great organizations in our area help meet those basic human needs. So when you get a little more into that part of the job, we'll let you come back and talk about that.
I would love to come back and tell you about our grant process.
Yeah,
Told you she was cool.
I know, right? She's been great, and great job, United Way Board. You did it again. You got another good executive director to help carry the torch. Suzanne, anything else we need to cover before we let you go today?
I just really want to thank our board. Thank you guys for having us on too as well. And thank you for St. Francis County for supporting us and continuing to be one of our biggest backers. So thank you guys.
Thank you, and good luck keeping your president in line this year. He's a little wacky.
Good luck with that.
He's so hard.
That's Suzzane Baker, the new executive director of the United Way of St. Francis County, our guest right here on the Parkland Podcast.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
The Department of Mental Health for the state of Missouri is seeking an advanced practice nurse to fill a position on their East-Southeast Regional Forensics mobile team. This position includes daytime travel, a flexible work schedule with remote work options available, at a salary of $130,000 annually, and tremendous benefits. This opening will not last long. To apply for the advanced practice nurse position or any other with the Department of Mental Health, please call 573-218-6800 or go to dmh.mo.gov. The state of Missouri is an equal opportunity employer. We celebrate diversity and are committed to creating an inclusive environment for all employees. Save-A-Lots of the Parkland. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. And in addition to saving you money on your grocery bill, which we all need right now, they got a really cool promotion that they just started.
It's on their Facebook page. They are introducing Save-A-Lot Rewards. Download the new app to earn dots and save lots at participating locations. And there are all kinds of reasons to go to the Save-A-Lot Facebook page. I am on it right now, as a matter of fact. They invite you to stop by, check it out, and save on every day that ends in Y.
Oh, wow. I think that's every day.
That is every day. Shop the dot with Save-A-Lot.
I love going to Save-A-Lot and checking out all the unique grocery items they have there. And the 5 for $24.99. Been trying to mix it up a little bit, but I always come back to the popcorn chicken and the chicken fries. I think my kids could eat that any day of the week that ends in Y. But I always am able to save money at my local Save-A-Lot store. And you can too. They're in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. And they sponsor the Parkland Podcast.
Thank you.
Music, music, music on this episode 21 of the Parkland Podcast. This is one of our favorite segments that we do because we get to talk about music we like and albums that are cool. Mark Toti, do you have a spooky song for us today?
Well, in honor of Halloween, I've got a spooky song. Not a spooky album, but a spooky song, and I think we both have one of those. My song is The Purple People Eater. That is a song written by Sheb Wooley. It was a huge hit back in the late 50s, and you will hear it every year right around Halloween. Sheb Wooley just wrote a whole bunch of big hit songs over the years. He was in some old westerns back in the day as well, but I mean, who doesn't know at least some of the words to One-Eyed, One-Armed, Flying Purple People Eater? Yeah. That was a great little tune.
Short shorts.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of Sheb Wooley.
Yeah.
A lot of Sheb Wooley. And my album, I just picked this one out. I haven't listened to it in probably 45 or 50 years. Concerts for the People of Kampuchea. I bought this album back in the 1970s because, well, I'm a big Who fan. And the whole first side, it's a double album set, by the way, was The Who singing Baba O'Reilly, Sister Disco, Behind Blue Eyes, and See Me, Feel Me. But it also has The Pretenders on here, Elvis Costello, Rockpile with Robert Plant, The Clash, Queen, and Paul McCartney and Wings. Just an awesome album.
That is cool.
It's called The Concerts for the People of Kampuchea. Check it out sometime.
So I'm going with the quintessential Halloween song, and that, of course, is The Monster Mash by the very, very talented and underrated Bobby Boris Pickett. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash, but you know what the B-side was to this one? Well, here it says Monster Mash Party, but he actually came up with another song called The Transylvania Twist.
I remember
after the line.
We're doing the Transylvania Twist.
Whatever happened to my Transylvania Twist? Best vampire impression from all your favorite former coworkers.
Me.
Yours is better than Mike Ramsey's?
Yeah, Mike's was pretty good. I'll acquiesce to Mike.
No, yours is good too. No, I would definitely agree with that. And then for albums, I'm borrowing another album from Mark, but boy, it's a good one. How about some Rainbow? How about some Ronnie James Dio Rainbow? This album has The Man on the Silver Mountain.
Great tune.
And a live album too, I guess, Rainbow on Stage.
Yes.
What was their big hit song after Ronnie James Dio left the band? Do you remember?
They had several hit songs. I was just in love with The Man on the Silver Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was, and I like Catch the Rainbow a lot, and I like the 16th Century Greensleeve songs. But there was a couple of songs, and I just can't think of the names of them right now, that I really liked from Rainbow.
And I was thinking of Since You've Been Gone. That was like the big radio hit for Rainbow.
Since You've Been Gone.
After Ronnie
Since
left
You've
the band.
Been Gone.
So there you go. I'll hand that back to you right now so I don't forget to do that. Those are your albums and songs of the week. And, also, here's one more thing about the Monster Mash. The song was partially inspired by the song Alley Oop. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Alley Oop, 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 Oop. As well as by the mashed potato dance craze, which, do you know how to do the mashed potato?
Now, when I think of mashed potatoes in entertainment, I think of John Belushi in Animal House, where he sticks the whole wad of mashed potatoes in his mouth. I guess what I am now. That's it. Get it?
Classic. Who is coming up on episode 22 of the Parkland Podcast?
Well, we're going to have another great show. We're going to be highlighted by Joanna Watts, joining us from Casa of the Parkland to tell us about that great organization and also about their big festival of trees that's coming up. So that's just one thing that you'll be able to look forward to.
And we'll probably have some political interviews, I'm assuming, because apparently there's a big election coming up. I don't know if you've heard about this.
That's what I've heard.
So that's all coming up, episode 22 of the Parkland Podcast. Have a happy and safe Halloween.
Boo!
Boo! Have a great week. We'll see you next week.